I'm Carey Pena. We want to welcome you to In the Moment, our weekly talk show focused on how to live your best life in the now. I am joined by my co-host, Gelie Akhenblit, the founder of Networking Phoenix, and Zenobia Mertel, who is a life and style columnist with InspiredMedia360.com. And back in the moment with us today, one of our faves, Luke Kayyem, master lifestyle coach. We're going to talk about some cool things you're working on. Give us like a sneak peek.
Working on creating more space, more time, and becoming more productive throughout the day.
And you're going to be going to a seminar with Tony Robbins, so you're going to give us a little bit of a scoop on that. But first, we want to get to a hot topic. I found this in Inc., one of our favorite publications, and they talk about the daily habits of exceptionally successful people. Luke, I was thinking of you because I know you teach people how to employ these sorts of tricks and tips. The first one, they say, make more decisions with your heart. The second one, they say, practice the skill of accepting feedback. Be open about it. Listen without interruption, objection, or defensiveness. I think that's so important. Number 3, set 3 personal goals for the day. Not writing daily tasks list, your work to-do list. They say the most successful people start the day by putting their mental focus on something that will make them better. Before the rat race starts, write down these questions first thing in the morning. They suggest writing down what will grow me personally or professionally and improve me as a human being today. What will excite me and give me more energy today. And the third, they say, what will set the stage for an epic, productive day. One more that I loved from their list, speak in the positive. Take clues from your colleagues known for being positive and happy. Have you paid attention to how they speak? Most of them, you'll note, refrain from negative words. I think that is huge. What stands out to you, Luke?
The specificness of the details, right? Everything's in the details. So waking up early in the morning, aligning what you have to do, what has to get done, along with your creative time, is to me the most important thing in that. And that's how we become more successful. We can't add any more hours to our day or our week. There's 168 hours in the week. But what we can do is become more detail-oriented, calendar the events that are important to us, schedule them, time them, and then set timers. That's a big one for me, is setting timers. Whether I'm working on the computer or working in the yard, I set a timer, and when the time is up, I'm out of there.
Oh, really? That's interesting. It keeps you moving throughout the day. And Gelie, since you coach business leaders, what on that list stands out to you?
Not working off your work to-do list, but actually focusing on the things that matter and speak to you. So one of the things I tell people, do not schedule your day from your inbox, right? Because that's what people do. They open up their inbox and that's their to-do list. That is absolutely the wrong thing to do. Have things that you want to get done, and when you're done, then you look in the inbox.
And then you move on. And Z, I know we always talk about just no negativity. Just don't allow it in. That's big to you.
So big. And because I think you feed off of that energy. So for sure, wanting to be around people that will lift you up, speak positively about others, and keep moving right along.
Luke, tell me about what you're working on right now. You have some cool projects, and you're really focused right now on eliminating shallow work and going for what you say is the gold. How do you do that?
So I'm coaching a lot of people right now on just personal empowerment and improvement, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited to go and learn from Tony at the end of the week, because I'm hoping exactly where I am, it's only going to magnify it and 10x the entire performance of what I'm trying to do and teach people along the way.
Yeah.
So for me, deep work is dedicating focused time to work on a specific project. In my case, I'm working on writing a book. Maybe somebody's writing music. Maybe somebody's working on their house or even teaching their kids. And we have so many distractions. We have phones, we have computers, we have people knocking on the door, and those distractions take us away from the most important thing, which is working on that deep work. How many times have you been on your phone and your daughter or your son grabs you and shakes you and says, pay attention, you're not paying attention to me. And you're like, yeah, I am. What is it? What is it? Right? So to take that even deeper and to schedule out, I call them 1 to 3 hour blocks of time throughout the week where I'm going to work on this deep work. The phones are off, my timers are set, I'm traditionally outside, and I can focus on writing the next chapter of my book without all these distractions.
Yeah.
The better I become at that, at being able to put my blinders on, the more focus I can have throughout the day in everything that I do. So that if I'm standing in line or I'm waiting in traffic, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't bother me because I'm in such a good place from practicing this skill.
Luke, when you coach, and you coach mainly men, right? What do you find to be the biggest obstacle for a lot of men that prevents them from really getting to the level where they want to be in terms of like holistically, not just success?
The first excuse is time, right? I can't work less, I can't spend less time with my family, I still want to be able to go out and hang out, do my activities or my hobbies. So what I do is I help them really take a look at their master calendar. And this is something, from a guy 11 years ago, I was living in Maui and I didn't even have an email address or a phone. I've really worked on this myself because I realized that we waste so much time. So if you can save time going to the grocery store and having somebody do it for you or ordering from Amazon, you end up creating more space and time to do the things you love to do. And I'll give a perfect example. My kids, we have somebody who comes and picks them up 2 days a week in the afternoon. Well, at about 2 p.m., I decide whether or not I'm going to go pick them up or not, even though I know this person is going to go pick them up based on the work that I've done that day. And if I haven't done the work that I needed to do, I'll use those 2 hours and utilize it so that the meaningful relationships are even bigger when my kids do come home from school. Instead of being their Uber driver, I actually have some really intimate time with them. But if I decide to do it, I've created that time for myself.
Now tell me about this upcoming Tony Robbins experience.
Yeah, so I've developed my own personal Fittest Tribe Alive mastermind group, and right now I'm in the process of working with 6 men exclusively, one-on-one together as a mastermind, really.
Well, tell folks real quick what Fittest Tribe Alive is.
Sure, so the Fittest Tribe Alive is a collection of 20 years of being in the health and fitness industry and understanding what people need more than anything is extreme accountability. They need a little nudge. They don't necessarily need somebody to go to the gym and set aside a time to work with them exclusively one-on-one for an hour. Some people do, some people don't. But what most people just need is somebody knowing that they're there. Well, I take it a step further, and I work with people on a one-time basis or on an annual basis where we look at everything that's happening in their life. What does their work look like? What does their home look like? What does their lifestyle look like? And not only do we put in the building blocks with the fitness and nutrition, but then we start to sprinkle in things like, okay, what does your lifestyle feel like when you wake up in the morning? What is your sleep like? What are your relationships like? And that's the main focus and reason why I created the 8 ways to show up was this is just a very simple outline you can use every morning to start your day. So if we're talking about, what's important to us for time, we don't want to start our day looking at the inbox. I start my day with a piece of paper that has the 8 ways printed out, on top of the book that I'm reading at that time, on top of my journal, on top of my computer. And those are the layers that I allow myself to work with. So doing the same thing for men who don't have any more time in their schedule, well, we take a look at it. And if they're, wasting time doing things that don't serve them, then we try to eliminate those things right away, on top of blocking and making sure that there's no breaks in their schedule.
That's going deeper. That's what we say, doing deeper
Yeah.
work. So we only have 30 seconds left in this segment. What do you hope to gain from Tony Robbins? I know a lot of people who've seen him and been to his conferences really take a lot away from him.
I have a good friend who's in my mastermind group named Jay Nixon, and he was at a Tony seminar, and he said, I'm in such a good place right now that if Tony falls down and he doesn't wake back up, I could step on stage and continue that message. I'm not hoping for that, Tony. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Tony looks like he's in pretty good shape.
But if anything happens to Tony, I'm looking at taking his place on that chair and standing up and coaching people. Honestly, it's such a powerful place to be in where people look to you with knowledge and understanding and the experience that we have. And I'm only using that to continue to be able to teach people on a greater and deeper level.
Now it's time to thrive with Gelie, and I'm interested in what you want to talk about, Gelie, today because you have been sharing more of your personal story on your blog, and what you're talking about today is never being afraid to fall apart. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so we use that quote. This is a quote that I use to get inspired to write a blog post, but I talk about not being afraid to fall apart because we all go on this entrepreneurial journey or personal journey, and we all have those moments where, oh my God, the world is literally going to end. And I've had many of those moments, most personally when my tech co-founder left my tech company, and then he also happened to be my husband, then ex-husband. So lots of transitional, oh my God, life is falling apart moments. But what I discovered in that is that it was almost life's way of nudging me out of that, right? And a lot of times I think we get committed to our journey. We get committed to a project that we started, and we don't realize when it's time to move on. So I want to let everyone know it's okay if you're having these moments. Maybe it's life's way of pushing you. And so get comfortable with that. And you can get a chance to put yourself back together exactly the way you want to. You can reinvent yourself, which is something I talk about as one of the key successes to life in business and personal, being able to reinvent yourself. I mean, think Madonna, right?
Yes.
How many times has that lady done it? So my top 3 tips for anyone that finds themselves in a situation like that is number 1, stay in action. Keep having progressive conversations with people. Number 2, maybe teach yourself a new skill, right? So maybe join Luke, at the Fittest Tribe Alive. For me, I created my website, Gelie.com. I could have paid somebody to do it, but I really wanted to do something new and feel that self of accomplishment.
I was so impressed that you created that on
Thank
your
you.
own. That's
yes.
amazing.
Well, and I was amazed at myself.
Yeah.
And the last piece is share your story if you're comfortable, because what you're going to find is other people will share their stories, and it gives you strength, and you kind of go through this journey together. So I launched a blog documenting my life pivot, follow Gelie.com, and I literally talk about my moments of falling apart, hopefully moments of, sunnier moments, but I literally I'm just talking about my journey and sharing with people, and it keeps me moving forward.
It's interesting too, because you're such a strong person, yet you've been able to make yourself vulnerable.
You have to. I think you have to go deep and to really look at yourself, and a lot of what Luke is talking about, this is all the same theme. Like, who are you at the core, and how are you going to grow? How are you going to develop?
Great stuff, Gel. Thank you. Now I want to share a story from my podcast. Every Friday, I have a podcast, Carey Pena Reports, and I interview people with highly inspirational stories to share. So most recently, I sat down with my friend from Kiss FM. He's a morning show host, very popular, John J. Van Ness. And he talked to me about how when he was younger, he was the victim of bullies. And recently, he became the victim once again. Listen.
Bully victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide than non-victims. This is according to a study by Yale University. The statistics just go on and on. What kind of message do you want to share?
Well, I think that's sad. And I remember, being a kid and I was crying when this happened. But here's the big thing for me is I had a great relationship with my parents, and I would tell my mom and dad, and I would cry. And my mom would hug me and kiss me and tell me I'm beautiful and tell me that I'm not, I'm her baby. And maybe I'm a mama's boy, but I had a great relationship with my mom, and I was very open about it. And then sadly, I remember my mom and my sister and I were talking about on the phone on the way here to this. My sister was laughing now that we'd get in the car and my mom say, hey, let's go to the supermarket, or we'd go wherever. And then my mom would drive to the bully's house. And I would jump in the back seat, lay on the floor, and cry and say, no, no, no. And my sister would be like, we're going to go talk to him. No, 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 no.
It was such an incredible interview. I want to tell you guys, I'm looking at my Facebook page right now, our Inspired Media 360 Facebook page. This interview has been seen, I think, more than 100,000 times. And I just really give John Jay so much credit for sitting down and sharing his most personal story. And I can't even tell you the comments. Just on so many levels. But I think one of the things that was most striking was that he shared the relationship that he had with his parents. So even as a young child, he by his own admission said he was a heavier child or had gone through, different weight fluctuations. But his mom always would hug him and kiss him and tell him how beautiful he is. Luke, you blog a lot and share your story a lot about how important it is to you to be a good father. So when you see someone like John Jay not only sharing his special experience that he had with his own father, but then talking about the kind of father he wants to be to his 3 beautiful boys, what's your reaction to that?
In 4th grade in Southern California, I went to a private school, and there was a kid named David George who had an intestinal issue, and he had to carry a bag and a tube around at a young age. And he got picked on a lot. And I remember I stood up for him so much so that the school teacher actually had not only called my mom to let her know, but wrote a letter home saying how amazing it was to see this happen. And from that moment, it was really like this was my validation to being real and raw and standing up for the kids who couldn't, because I was athletic and I was taller than most kids, and I was able to protect them. But it just made me think, gosh, I can't believe that even exists out there. And it does. Now, having kids of my own in 4th grade, I raised them, teaching them the exact same thing that I went through and saw with David, where you want to be the superhero. You don't want to be the kid who gets bullied, and you definitely don't want to be the bully himself.
Yeah.
So if you can find a way to just grow up, always kind of paying attention to your awareness and your situation and seeing other people and see how they treat other people, it makes you have a self-realization.
And bullying is you saw the clip. I was really outlining some of the statistics because it really angers me. It is so pervasive and it is unacceptable. And Z, just very quickly, you texted me and said that you were very teary-eyed when you saw John Jay's interview.
Absolutely, because I think what touched me most was even though he had this horrible experience at school, his parents were there to lift him up, make him feel so good that he was able to get through it. And that's what I talk to my kids about all the time.
And now he's using his experiences to be a role model. And it really doesn't get much better than that.
Yes.
I encourage you guys, if you have 15, it's about 17 minutes actually, for that interview, it's posted on our website. We have a new look website, by the way, I'm really excited about,
awesome.
inspiredmedia360.com. And Z, now let's check out your vibe segment, because you just went to go and get a treatment, which I'll let you say the name of it, 'cause I'm probably going to butcher it, that you said was incredible. Tell us about it.
It was. It's called craniosacral therapy. So, and do I look super relaxed?
You do
because
look
I walked
relaxed.
out of there like jelly. It was really cool. So it is a real therapy that's used in occupational therapist office. And this particular therapist, Sari Lewis, she did 700 hours of training for this. And what it is it's manipulation of the cerebral fluid across your system to help promote healing, natural healing. So it helps eliminate anxiety, it can reduce stress and sleeping issues. She helps little infants that come out of the womb that maybe, they're crying, you don't know why, the mother doesn't know what to do. Through simple manipulation with her hands on the sacrum, which is the bottom of your spine, to the head, which is what she did with me, you just kind of get back in line. Your fluid has a rhythm, she says, and it helps promote healing. And she's busy. She's doing it, and she's in Scottsdale. She was awesome. It makes you think about different ways to heal from the inside out versus what's so commercialized now.
Had you ever heard about this before, Luke?
I have. My wife suffers from migraines.
Oh,
so
yes.
she's had it done a few times before, and of course it's in the wellness business, so I definitely take a look at it, and I believe in it strongly. Just like, meditation and yoga, it all helps promote healthier mindset.
Yeah, you're a real big proponent of checking out any type of holistic therapy that might help you, right?
Yeah, acupuncture, cryotherapy, massage therapy, physical therapy. Therapy's therapy, and whether it's mind, body, or spirit, you've got to take a look at it. And if something's not on, you're not aligned, then you need to get realigned.
Yeah, I want to go check that place out. Z, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And now we're going to skip out to lunch with David Lux, our contributor, and his mom, who I guess is now officially a celebrity in town. She's handing out her business cards. She's a restaurant reviewer. They go out to lunch every Saturday. They take us along with them for an informal restaurant review. And they were most recently at Kitchen West, which is right off the 18th hole of the golf course at the Scottsdale Resort at McCormick Ranch. And David says, quote, "I got the brisket burger." Luke, close your ears, because this does not look like healthy food. He says the sunset was beautiful. Summer is coming early this year, he says, so we were glad to enjoy one of the last meals outside until fall. Can't believe I'm saying this when it's only mid-March, but that place looked really beautiful, great view. And that brisket burger, I'm sure it's not healthy, but do you indulge like that every once in a while?
Little while.
So, or like with that burger, would you just eat like a quarter of it?
Yeah, so I've cut back on my red meat intake, but what I would probably do is split a burger with somebody at the table, eliminate the bun, wrap it in lettuce, glass of water,
You're
a
one
little
of
squeeze
those.
of lemon.
Oh, my word. We're not
But I'd get the
inviting
sweet
you to our
potato
next
fries.
dinner party.
That's our happy hour, sorry.
And now we want to close out today with our Do Good segment. I'm so excited about shining the light on all the great people out in our community who are really doing good things. And Zenobia, you are one of those. You joined 19,500 plus of your closest friends out at the Phoenix Heart Walk. And tell us about it. What was the experience like?
It was awesome. I mean, it's fitness, it's community, and it's raising money for a very good cause, the American Heart Association. My family went out, minus my daughter who was dancing, and you know what? I loved talking about the messages that people were wearing on their shirts, losing someone, inspiring someone else. That was the most touching, and it was community coming together. They raised more than $2 million, I believe, which is such a record.
To fight heart attack and stroke in our community. And we're members of the Heart Ball Committee as well, so it's working to really make our community stronger and healthier. So bravo to all those who went out, and we're so excited to see such a great turnout for that cause. Luke, thank you so much for being with us today. One last parting inspirational word for the audience.
Walking is a pastime. It's my favorite pastime. So for those of you out there that feel like maybe you're stuck or you can't get moving or you don't know how to exercise or you can't afford a gym, just start walking. And yes, it's hot here in Arizona, but we got time. 4 a.m. is a good time to get going and get walking.
Yeah, 4 a.m. We'll join you maybe around like 5:30, Luke.
With a burger.
With a burger. Thanks for being here, everyone. We love having you with us, and we hope you will join us each week for In the Moment. Our goal here is to motivate and inspire you on all levels. You can check us out at inspiredmedia360.com or, of course, on Facebook and YouTube at Inspired Media 360. And if you'd like to contribute, we'd always love to hear from you. Hope you go out there and live right now in the moment. Take care.